Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at a nice little slate of games here in the NBA playoffs on a Friday night as we continue to roll along. We're kicking things off here with the Heat, who are headed to Atlanta for Game 3, up 2-0 at the moment, but Bam Adebayo is questionable. Obviously not really sure how much gaming there is going on there, but we will take a look at some of the best bets and how that might affect this game here in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. We are going to be bringing you every single playoff game with videos, with a video for each game, as well as that player props video that we love to bring you as well throughout this postseason. Also head to thelines.com. Make sure you are getting the best odds available out there with our tool to make sure that you are shopping the lines correctly with all those odds makers giving you all those bets available out there. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, very interesting slate. I mean, once again, you got the three favorites as tiny favorites on the road here. Miami being the most whole of the three. As you mentioned, Bam is questionable, but he played through that issue for 24 minutes in Game 2, and they still won. Miami minus 1.5 at Atlanta. That total at 221.5. Then the Bucks were going to be without Chris Middleton for a couple weeks if they can keep playing. Minus 2.5 at Chicago. That total at 222. And then the Suns were going to be without Devin Booker for a few weeks. Minus 2 at the Pelicans. Total all the way down at 216 there. Look, Miami is probably the most confident I would be of the three because of what I just said. I mean, they can quest on without Bam, and Bam is obviously has a chance to play, whereas the other two are going to be missing integral pieces of their lineup. It's interesting that the Miami's, willing to list a few guys questionable in a playoff series. Kind of shows you what they think of their opponent, an opponent that they have basically just handled all season. I mean, they did drop one game by 2 points, but they actually beat Atlanta twice without Bam, once without Bam and Jimmy, and out-rebounded them by 17 in that game. With Yurt season, our boy Omer Yurt 7 going for a 13, 10, and 6 line, pretty much just filling right in for Bam. And then 2 nights later, 17, 11, and 4. Clint Capella missed both those games, and Atlanta will not have him. So, I mean, that's the key reason right there that the line should not really be a toss-up like it is, because the Hawks don't have a replacement for Capella, so to speak, and John Collins is not even healthy. He's just played in these 2 playoff games, but he's doing what he can here. And Atlanta now dropped 5 of their last 8 regular season games without Capella. Their defensive rating is 3 points worse without him. During the regular season against Miami, a 121 defensive rating, and they shot 34% from 3. And now they're facing, Miami was the 3rd best 3-point defense on the road all season. And now they're in playoff mode, Miami, and they held Atlanta to 22 for 76 from deep. That's 29% in these first 2 games. This is a Hawks team that absolutely depends on the 3 ball. They had the 2nd best percentage on the year from deep. And the quality of shots they were getting, Josh, are not at all what you want. I mean, Miami, this is what they do. Just like the Bucks, they're going to try to force you into bad shots or force guys that they want to take threes into taking threes. And Bogdanovich hit a bunch of those in Game 2. Yeah. I mean, he was just feeling himself. I don't know if he can sustain that, to be honest. He's dealing with an ankle injury as well, I believe. And we talk about it every time these teams meet. Trae Young really struggles against Miami. And while he finally found the rhythm scoring, got to 25 points in Game 2, 10 turnovers, now averaging over 6 turnovers per game in his last 10 versus Miami with a 103 offensive rating. And last year he was heroic on the road. At home, his averages took a big dip in the playoffs. And I don't think he's going to be able to put this team on his back. I don't think Atlanta is that good, frankly. I mean, definitely not without some of their staples, like I mentioned, being injured or out. They actually lost 8 of their last 11 against Eastern Conference teams that are in the playoffs. And that includes a couple to the Bulls when the Bulls were just reeling. So, I mean, Miami, with their championship aspirations and their championship level depth. Like Tyler Hero hasn't even gotten going yet. Jimmy Butler just put the offense on his back last game. Kyle Lowry just being consistent, but he can step up if called upon. I think Miami has too much for Atlanta to deal with, and we could be looking at a sweep.
Yeah, it just seems like it. It does feel like the two series that you now feel the most comfortable with are the two teams who, unfortunately, are the worst because they don't have their players. Denver in the West, as we record this, down, I believe, 10.5 to the Dubs. They're without all their stars. Same situation with Atlanta. I mean, they've had either a hobbled or no bogey for a while, and Clint Capella being out, right away in game one. It really just kind of shut the door on the series as far as most people were concerned, as far as I was concerned, and why I felt so comfortable betting. I would never have felt comfortable betting Atlanta against Atlanta in game two if Clint Capella was close, was on the floor at all, just on the floor, just because I was scared as hell of Trae Young. And what he would do if he had his counterpart in a situation where he's on the road and he needs to win down 1-0. That's perfect Trae Young, bad guy on the road time. But I now feel very comfortable betting against Atlanta is the point, because that's not the case. And so I'm going to continue to do that. And even if Bam doesn't play, which let's say he does play, but the 24 minutes that he played last game, somewhat impactful, and definitely always, helpful, obviously, on defense. And the fact that Atlanta has nobody right now to fill in. Gorgie Dang only getting 6 minutes random time, and Okongwu has a negative 38 net rating in 2 games individually, worst on the team for sure. And it was a negative 72 in 19 minutes in the first game, which really contributed to that being so bad. So that's really just why you can't you can't play him, and that everybody who's in the front court for the Heat at this point is going to eat we already saw it happen with when it was Yurt's season, when he was going through, he was really, his coming out party was this game, and it was because it was sans Clint Capella, as this game is going to be once again. Just finishing the point about Bam, this is a very deep team. This is a very good team at every single position on every area of the court are the Miami Heat, and they can beat you with that 3 ball, which they'll continue to feel comfortable shooting, but they can beat you in a variety of ways with guys like Bam and Jimmy, who are so versatile and play so physically. Their defensive, they were 17-9 without Bam this season when he didn't play. Their defensive rating was only 1 point worse. Their offensive rating was actually 1 point better. I'm not really looking into that, but just saying. At this point, in 6 meetings with Atlanta, 3 of which have not had Bam Adebayo, their defensive rating is 104.7, giving up a 99.6 points a game, and 2 of those games were in Atlanta. So it's not like it's just because the Hawks are so much worse on the road on offense. That storyline doesn't really hold water for me once the playoffs start, other than the fact that you might be able to expect guys like Kevin Huerter to play better at home. But also he's got pretty even splits on the road in the playoffs dating back to last season. So this is really just a situation where they don't have enough at this point. It starts with their inability to bang down low with the Heat, to get boards, to ever get second chances, and to really free up Trae Young, just the way that they're just shutting them down. They're only shooting 28% from 3 are the Hawks in this series so far. And at this point in those 6 games, just 30% over, across all 6. So there's not much reason to. I think you start looking at ways to bet Miami in the series. The only 3 things worth looking at here are Miami if they win by in 5, that's plus 170. The sweep is plus 190. It gets interesting when you get to 4-2. If you like plus 450 for Miami to win in 6, if you think the Hawks have any chance to pull out a couple games, but I don't think this goes past 5. And the sweep in this one is just as likely as it is in that Warriors series against the Nuggets.
Yeah, only if you have the utmost faith in Trae Young and what he can do in what has been the worst possible matchup for him. Yeah. And the Hawks, they score 120 in wins. They score 107 in losses, I believe. And a lot of those inflated home numbers are when they're playing the dregs or teams that are not full strength, and not when they're playing the Miami Heat. I would take under on 110.5 for Atlanta and say they could even win and not get to that total. The way Miami's playing. Yeah. But I would be terrified to take Atlanta to win. Jimmy Butler, 45 points, 0 turnovers, 0 fouls. Yeah. That's a guy who's just completely in control of the game and putting his stamp on this series right now. And then, like I said, Miami has dogs in waiting. Like PJ Tucker hasn't even been called upon to to shut somebody down, or when needed. And again, if they key in on Butler, Tyler Hero can run the offense. Gabe Vincent is outplaying Trae Young at times. Like it's hashtag heat culture. It's bananas. It's Eric Spoelstra's playoff scheme. It's everything you'd want to see if you're a Miami fan. And unless they have a big mental lapse, they should take a 3-0 lead and go for that 4 or 5 game sweep. But I think maybe the safest bet is just saying they will hold Atlanta under 110, even if they wind up losing a nail biter and winning this series in 5. The defense will come to play tonight.